How does it make you feel when you say this to yourself, out loud or inwardly? Thank you for showing me that this issue is already solved. Thank you for showing me that all the issues in my life are now solved. How does this make you feel? Because what this does is, if you truly mean it, you truly say it, and you're truly present, and you're holding your attention on this, what it does is it changes your inner dialogue, and it changes the pictures in your imagination. It starts changing and manipulating your world for tomorrow, simply by feeling, changing your moods, changing your states of consciousness by saying this inwardly to yourself. Thank you for showing me that my issues are already solved. So instantly, your imagination is picturing something associated with one of the issues in your life being solved. And then that feeling from that picture in your mind is then being impressed into the subconscious mind for something to happen tomorrow where that issue is now going to be solved. Like, it's literally changing your tomorrow, next week, and the next year, simply by saying this inwardly to yourself. Thank you for showing me that this issue is already solved. Thank you for showing me that my life is perfect right now. Thank you for showing me that. Your higher self. You're requesting this to your higher self, but ultimately what this is doing, because imagination creates reality, is it's shifting your inner dialogue. It's shifting the pictures that are in your mind and then ultimately changing your mood. And when you can feel that presence within you from this statement, that's the mood that takes you to that next level. That feeling is the secret. The secret of feeling is learning how to alter your feelings, and they all stem and originate from your state of consciousness, your inner dialogues, and the pictures that are coming up from those inner dialogues. Because when you say something, whatever you're saying, whether that's positive or negative, it's creating a picture in your mind, because imagination creates reality. And from anything that you're thinking, from your inner dialogue, it's automatically, whether you're conscious of it or not, creating a picture in your mind. And that picture is then creating a feeling state. That feeling state is going directly into the subconscious mind to potentially create that into your future. So what are you inwardly saying to yourself all the time? Catch yourself. And that's why we teach attention and present moment awareness, and knowing that you're living in a simulation, and constantly reminding yourself to do this. Because if your life isn't the way that you want it to be right now, it's because of you. It's because of your own inner dialogue. It's because of your constant feeling states and the pictures that are coming in your mind. So right now, what picture are you seeing in your mind right now for yourself? Like, what's happening within you right now? Be consciously aware of these things throughout the day. Catch yourself. Set reminders if you have to. Have something in your pocket, that's going to remind you, or be part of a community that you're constantly getting reminded, continue to apply this in your own life. Don't just listen to it. Don't just study it, but actually start applying it. Ask yourself these questions. And it's also important to determine what questions, what affirmations, what things can you say to yourself that are directly changing the pictures in your mind. And you can test this out. Like saying, everything in my life is working out for me perfectly right now. Or ask questions. How do I feel right now that everything's working out for me perfectly? Or if this did work out for me perfectly, how would I feel? Or affirmations. You could say any of these sorts of things. Like, why do I feel so great now that my life is working out perfectly? Why do I feel so great now that my life is working out so perfectly? And what this does is it creates new pictures in your mind. These pictures are being created, and from the imaginal pictures in your mind, those feeling states are being created and being sent off into the screen of space. This illusion of a simulation that you're living in is being created this way. It's all being created this way. And that's why if you live as if you already have something right now, it's being brought to you. Like when I just recently manifested my McLaren, I already had the car. When I drove my other cars, I was driving a McLaren. I was living this way. I was falling asleep with it. I was creating mental pictures in my mind from my inner dialogues that was picturing me driving the car, having this car already. Everything within me already possessed it. So then That's my inner dialogue. Those are the pictures that I'm constantly seeing in my mind being associated with this. Then it's being projected onto the screen of space. Then you activate the law of thought transmission that goes into all these other people in the simulation that are getting thoughts that are actually originating from you, but they think those thoughts are originating from them. And then all of a sudden they want to give you something. They want to give you a good deal. All of a sudden you're getting phone calls, you're getting people knocking on the door, you're getting these things popping up in front of you on your PC or your phone, or you're seeing something that's leading you towards it. And all you have to do is just walk through the door. And that's what separates you. That's the only thing that separates you from the things that you desire to come to you in your life. So all you have to do is ask yourself, what do you want to create? And start picturing those things. Even if, just recently I was on a coaching call with a client that is a little bit older, but they're not really that old. They're still young. And a lot of people have this perception that they have to be a certain way because their doctor told them this, or this is just what it is. You don't have to be old. You could live to 200 if you want to. You could live older. These are just set beliefs. But when I'm coaching this client, they say, when I was young, I was able to, do sprinting. I was able to run. I was able to swim, and I was able to, run miles and miles and miles, lift all this weight, do heavy squats and do heavy lunges and do all of these, really active things. And I say, what is preventing you? The only thing that's preventing you from doing that now is this belief that you have, because from your beliefs and what you consent to be true is based on your state of consciousness. So your inner dialogue is creating pictures in your imagination of you not being able to do this. So you're no longer seeing yourself do this stuff. That's the only thing that's preventing you from doing it, is because you're not seeing pictures of yourself doing it anymore. So when you start intentionally creating pictures in your mind of you doing these things now, you're squatting heavy weight, you're doing all this in your imagination, you're touching your toes, you're doing the splits, or whatever exercise, or whatever is hindering you from doing what you want to do, start doing these things in your imagination. Start doing them in your imagination. And these feeling states that are created from you doing these things in your imagination are being projected out to the screen of space, where something strange is just going to happen to where you're now doing these things again. So if there's things in your life right now that's someone told you that you can't do anymore, or you have a set of beliefs where you can't do these things anymore, start imagining yourself doing them again. So start seeing yourself doing them again, whatever it is, or whatever it is that you desire in your life that you want to have. Start picturing these things in your mind, in your imagination, and something magical will happen, something strange will happen, or you'll just change who you are, and you're just going to go after it and get it, like automatically, within your new state of consciousness. But when it comes to like health issues, these things I have overcome, and I've helped hundreds of people overcome simply by imagining themselves doing these things again. If there's something that's hindering you, something that you can't do that you want to do, but some doctor told you or someone told you something along the way that you can't do that anymore, I'm not saying start doing it in the physical reality, but start imagining yourself doing it, and something will change. Something magical will happen in your life that'll change that. There'll be your doctor will now come tell you something like, yeah, you're cured now. Your doctor will come in and say, oh, they just came out with this, something new, some new technology came out, and now you're going to be able to do this again. There'll be something that'll happen to where you will now believe it to be true for you. And that's why I say imagination, start imagining what you want to do right now in your life, and just let it happen. And you'll start experiencing these things to start to work in your life, and then you'll start using it more. But the foundational piece, or the cornerstone, or the focal point of this video is to be aware of your inner dialogues and the pictures that are coming up in your mind. And if they're not the pictures of the things that you want to have in your life, if they're not leading you towards that, and you're very conscious of what they are, start intentionally changing those things. Start intentionally imagining new things and changing those inner dialogues yourself. And the best way to do that, of course, is to fall asleep, imagining yourself to be someone different now. That's really the easiest way to change it. That's like the trick, the hack, is to do it right before you fall asleep at night, is to become a new version of yourself, which ultimately will change you for the next day. And then you'll be acting automatically within that new state of consciousness, because what your state of consciousness is creating your inner dialogues are going to be attached to that. And that's associated with the pictures that'll be coming up in your mind as well. So if you're automatically a new state of consciousness, your inner dialogue is going to change, and your pictures in your mind are going to change with that. So you could be consciously aware of that and just see the changes that are happening within your own imagination, from the change within your state of consciousness of what you fell asleep with. It can be kind of technical. There's a lot of variables with that, and it can be difficult to explain and completely understand it. But as you start experiencing it to work in your life, you'll see the changes that'll happen. And it's really amazing the life that you can live just by simply using these tools that you have. You have your human imagination. You can literally change anything in your life by intentionally using it to change what you're imagining, to change what your feeling states are, to change what your states of consciousness are, especially as you're falling asleep. But it's just amazing how we have this ability, and so many people don't even know that they can change everything simply by changing their inner dialogues. But I really just wanted to share this video and let each and every one of you know that I love you so much, and I want nothing but the best for each and every one of you. And it's just amazing how far we've come, and the sky is the limit. So keep pressing forward and don't stop with your imaginations until you get everything that you want, and then make sure that you're grateful in the process of it all, developing everything in the entire process of developing all of that. I love you all, and I'll see you in the next video.